Hello and welcome to the Boys Upstairs Show. This is the Week 5 NFL show. Woo! We've got 2 1-3 teams here for our first game. The Jets are going to Denver, playing the Broncos. Broncos are 1.5. This is basically a pick 'em. Totals 43.5. So Denver came back from 21 points last week, beat Sam's Bears. And then the Jets came off a pretty close game against the Chiefs where Zach Wilson was the only quarterback to ever outduel Mahomes. Jets, Broncos. We're going to go to camp.
Start this off. First off, I'm gonna give a little hot take here, but I think Broncos are not as terrible as everyone thinks they are. I think the Jets are also overlooked. The hype around the league or whatever, like the superstardom of the league, like every celebrity, it's cool to like Zach Wilson right now. Basically, I think everyone thinks just because like he competed with Mahomes that he somewhat make this Jets team decent, and I think that's just a false image of everything of the Jets. They're not good at all. They're still terrible. And yes, he had a decent game. He outplayed Mahomes, but he also went against the Chiefs, who are not known for being a very great defensive team at all. I don't think that the Jets are going to do too much versus the Broncos. I think the Broncos are in decent shape. It's also cool to hate the Broncos right now just because they just got 70 pumped on them by the Dolphins. 2 elite defenses, I think. Sauce Gardner, very elite DBs, not a crazy elite D-line for the Broncos, but they're decent. So their DBs carry the weight for them as well. But I like the under, and I like Broncos spread.
Broncos defense has really struggled, obviously giving up 70 and stuff. But they have the guys to be at least a decent to above average defense. I feel like against the Jets is when, they kind of figure it out, put it together. And even though Zach Wilson balled out on Sunday night, which I was really proud of him because, everybody's been talking shit about him and stuff. So I kind of felt bad when he fumbled on the last drive because it's just, he was having such a great game. But I just think, I don't want to say it was like a fluke game, but I don't think he plays up to that level again against the Broncos. And I think the Broncos are going to cover. I don't want to touch the total here because a lot of people saying, it's going to be low scoring, but that's the type of game where like it just, what I'm saying, like it's like 27-31 for some goddamn reason.
Under 43.5. On first sight, it has a gut feeling of one of those red zone games where it's like next thing you know, it's 3:30 on a Sunday, and you look and it's like, wait, what the fuck? Why is Jets Broncos still 9-6 in the third quarter? It's too close of a game to decide because both teams really don't have an identity yet. So it's hard to say which side is better and which side's worse. So I just going to go with under 43.5 here. I think it's going to be a close, tight, low-scoring one.
And I'm taking the under 2 here because these are 2 teams that are known for great defense. I mean, obviously the Broncos gave up 70, but overall last year, the Broncos were in all those 9-6, 12-9, all those games that were ridiculously like low scoring, and the Jets defense is obviously top tier with all their players. So I'm definitely taking the under as well, but I'm going to take the Jets plus 1.5 or 1, whatever their spread is, because I feel like there's some games where I can just see the storyline. Like I can see the headlines. I already know what they're going to talk about. And I feel like Mahomes got so close last week that this is not Mahomes. Wilson got so close last week to beating Mahomes that this is the week he's going to pull out a win. He's going to beat the Broncos. There's going to be a bunch of media about him. Is he not that bad? I still think he's going to be bad regardless. Like I don't think he's going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, but I feel like this is the game where he puts it together. They get a win. Media's talking about is Zach Wilson becoming a NFL QB. And I think the Jets they have more talent, like defensively, and both offenses are garbage. So better defense. I feel like the Jets would score before the Broncos did. I think the Jets they're due for a win after last week. And I feel like the Broncos is the team where if you're due for a win, you can get that win.
I'm not picking a game. I'm not picking a winner. I'm taking the under as well because both these teams' offenses are miserable. Although Wilson's sneaky having a good stat year, but regardless of the point, what I want to address for Coby, from what Coby said, that is a lesson to you all and that you should take home, is that whenever you think there's a storyline that benefits the Jets, they will always disappoint you. It is almost inevitable that they will disappoint you. Anytime my roommate is a diehard Jets fan since birth. Nobody you'll meet knows more about this team, and he will tell you, anytime you think there's a chance of excitement, that they'll show you something, they will disappoint you. Don't let them fool you again. I think the Broncos are going to win. I'm not picking it, but I do think the Broncos are going to win.
I was going to say what Coby was going to say a little bit along those lines. I see Zach Wilson having a good game here, and I see the Jets defense having a good game here because of Russell Wilson being Russell Wilson this year and last year. I just think that the Broncos are really sad. Like, this is a pick 'em, so it's kind of a go with your gut type game, and I can't go with the Broncos in a go with your gut type game. Like, that's what it comes down to. I don't love Zach Wilson, but I do love how Chris Jones, I think it was Chris Jones, stood up for him on Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football. You think when it comes down to it, fourth quarter, if it's 17-13, 17-14, what team is going to come out at that point? And I think it's going to be the Jets, even with Zach Wilson. I really am out on Russ. I've been out on Russ for like a year and a half now. I think that the Jets going to win this game. I was going to take the over, but I kind of been taken off of that hill now. So just the Jets, -1.5.
Has everybody else gone?
Oh, wow.
Sorry. Very busy night, as you can see. I'm not nude because there's like a hole in the back seat. I stained my shirt at dinner. Long story. If you give me 5 minutes. No, I just fucking said I wasn't, Sam.
5 minutes later.
The Nat Hackett Bowl. I have never been more excited to watch two bad teams play since I watched the Bears play the Broncos last week. I'm so looking forward to this game. Sean Payton said this was the worst coaching job in the history of the league last year by Nat Hackett, and then proceeds to lose by 50 points in his third game coaching that very same team. The Broncos started 2-1 last year, and Sean Payton started 0-3 this year. Now Nat Hackett calling plays for Zach Wilson, who might be the worst quarterback in the league, even though he impressed me on Sunday night, I will say. He did impress me. I am going to take the Broncos. I'm also going to take the under. I think it'll be very low scoring. I think that Russ, everyone is making fun of Russ and the Broncos. If you look at Russ compared to last year, he's actually playing a lot better. It's the defense that's terrible. I think the defense will find their footing against Zach Wilson. I don't expect him to have 2 good games back to back. However, it's like a 1.5 point spread, go either way game. I like the Broncos to win, low scoring, and Sean Payton, that handshake with Saleh and maybe a little wink at Nat Hackett walking off the field after the game, going to be fun to see.
Game 2 on the slate here. So, unfortunately, our resident Cowboys fan, Scott McCabe, is on a flight right now to Tallahassee, Florida for the Florida State game. We are going to talk about the Cowboys. Cowboys, first time this year we're talking about the Cowboys. Cowboys are going to San Francisco. 49ers are -3.5. Total is 45 even. We're going to give it to Samuel.
In the absence of Scott, I didn't want to do this. I really didn't. I think San Francisco is one of the most fun teams in the league to watch, and they're just a treat to see on your TV every week. That being said, I'm going to go with the Cowboys here. I'm going to go with the Cowboys +3.5. I don't know if they're going to win, but that 3.5 number just poked out to me. Like, I think I believe they're going to cover that. I don't believe. I know they're going to cover that. I mean, Micah Parsons, man, he's too good. And this Cowboys defense, it's very amazing. I tried to do a little Scott accent there.
I was like, what was that?
It was kind of poking out. I could hear it.
You put that on Instagram, but yeah, the Niners. Nothing has gone wrong for the Niners yet. They beat the Steelers. They smoked them, and Steelers have a good defense, a very good defense. And then they played the Rams, who also don't have that bad of a defense either. But still, the Cowboys are a really good team, and they showed that last week. They absolutely dominated the Patriots. They handed Bill Belichick the biggest loss of his career at 38-3, which was ridiculous. Dan Quinn, Salisbury University alumnus, one of my favorite coaches in the league. He knows how to get it done. He knows how to scheme up game plans. But I think the Cowboys are gonna cover this one. I think they're gonna dial it in. They've looked good. Besides that Cardinals loss, their coaching's been good. The players been playing well. Dak's been good. This might be the week where the Brock Purdy undefeated reign comes to an end. I think this might be that week.
Like Sam said, the Steelers defense is good, but like CMC is just that much gooder.
The Steelers might not have a good defense after last week, but
yeah, and I was about to say that too. Like, I genuinely don't know if the Steelers defense is good anymore. But
it should be good. But then you get 36 put on you by the Texans, and you don't know anymore.
And I don't think the Cowboys or the Steelers defense, they're not going to allow CMC to have a fucking hat trick. So I think the Cowboys are going to probably win this game. I think this is going to be a defensive game, but I'm not going to take an under. I would take an under, but I'm not going to. So Cowboys spread.
I don't really know. I was kind of conflicted with this game. I think both teams are really good. I don't really trust the Cowboys offense yet. It just feels like they've had too easy of a go at it, and they haven't truly been tested, and they haven't really faced adversity when they've been down in like a substantial manner. I don't have a ton of justification other than a gut feeling. That's why I'm taking the Niners.
The 49ers look great so far. I mean, I don't think anyone can stop Christian McCaffrey. I think they have a real passing attack. I think Brock Purdy is better than people expect and better than people give him credit for. I mean,
Are you serious, Coby?
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry
think
to
he
cut
played.
you off, but that was fucking crazy.
What do you mean?
You think Brock Purdy has a good arm?
Yeah, I think I didn't say a good arm. I said I think he's a better quarterback than people give him credit for. He's made great reads. Yes, 49ers simplify the offense, but he's played great, and I think he's better than people give him credit for. Yes, he's in a 49ers system, but he has to make decisions. He has to make throws. I think he's done a great job at that.
I've seen him. I don't know. I've seen the recent games I've seen him. He's had a lot of wide open play action rollouts, like some wide open throws that were just like,
dude. Then why doesn't everybody do it? Like,
yeah, no, he's
nobody. Every team doesn't have George Kittle, CMC, Deebo Samuel lined up on that.
A lot of teams.
Those aren't insane receiving threats, though. Like,
but those are insane yak like players.
They've got a great offense, but I can say firsthand from watching him week 1, he was literally Joe Montana. Like, he didn't miss a throw. I think he started the game like 13 for 13 or some shit like that.
He is a good quarterback.
About Tua, like obviously Tua is better than Brock Purdy.
That's not the same. That's not. It's different when you have receivers streaking down the field and you have to make a throw to them when they're 30, 40 yards running a 4-4, and when you have George Kittle running a fucking 10-yard slant.
That's not true. Look, I'm not saying he's fucking Brady. I'm saying people are like, oh, he's in the 49ers offense. So that's it. Like, no, that's not it. That's not why he's good. Like, Brock Purdy is a good NFL quarterback, and it's not just because of his system. I think the San Francisco has an easy time with this. San Francisco's a real contender. I think Dallas is a pretender. And I'm going to take the over. I feel like 45 is a low under. Both teams could put up 23 in this game. Obviously, San Francisco puts up points, and Pollard's been running the ball pretty good. Dak ain't been turning the ball over like he was last year. So I'm taking the over, and I'm taking 49ers spread. The 49ers have beat up on every team they've looked at so far, and I don't see why that would stop because of the fucking Cowboys.
If you look at raw statistics, box score, quarterback rating, passer rating, Brock Purdy's been the best quarterback in the NFL this year. I can't believe it. He was the last pick in the draft. He's in year 2. He's been the best quarterback in the league. However, when you watch the games, the teams they've played hasn't played a great pass rush. I like Dallas to cover the 3.5. I don't know if we can put this on my card. I also don't want to because it's a long shot. I think San Francisco wins 27-24 on a field goal at the gun, meaning that Dallas covers the 3.5. I do think it's going to be a very close game.
If you want to throw in an exact score on the card, we've never done that, but I'll do that.
But like, if I get it right, can I get like 100 points instead of just one? That's kind of unfair. Like we got to get like,
you got to get some odds,
some kind of scoring in there.
I mean, it's a win-loss system. We can't give you more than a win, but
it should be like times 10 or so. I don't know. We can think about it. We can think about it.
You can put like a star next to his name, being like Jake has hit a correct score before.
Yeah, true.
But I think the Cowboys need this game more because the Niners have ended their season back-to-back years. They kind of have the edge against them. Just, when they walk into the stadium, we beat this team every single time we play them. We're just way better than them, and it doesn't even matter who we start at quarterback. Whereas the Cowboys have Dak Prescott, who's one of the highest paid players in the league, and he for some reason struggles every time he plays the Niners, even though it's a great defense and a lot of quarterbacks struggle when they play him. But I think Dallas will cover the 3.5, keep it close. Niners, I do think will win. As I said, exact score, maybe 27-24, field goal at the gun by, I think the Niners kicker is Postman's guy, Jake Moody. Go blue. I think so.
Go blue, baby.
It might be a big day for Jake Moody if he can kick that field goal at the end, like I said. But yeah, Dallas plus 3.5, very close game, and the over.
I remember I had a group, he was in my major, and he was my year 2, and I had a group project with him. And the guy didn't do just did nothing. And I was like, did not care at all. Like, you go keep kicking 95% from 50 yards out, and I will do everything for you.
He kind of alluded to it right there, but he took the Cowboys. 49ers own the Cowboys. 49ers are going to walk out on the field with the boombox, and they're going to walk onto the field and dominate the Cowboys. And I'm not just saying that because I don't personally love the Cowboys. I think 49ers are probably the best team in the NFL, like everybody was saying. 3.5 is the worst number you could see other than like 7.5 when you're gambling. I don't love that number, but I love 49ers. So I think that they're going to win by a touchdown. So I'm going to take them minus 3.5 here.
I'm going to go ahead and take the Niners here. They've looked like the best team in the NFL through a month. And I know Dallas started off the year real strong with 2 really good wins, but against bad teams. Then they come out in week 3, lose to the Cardinals. They haven't really looked as good. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and take the Niners minus 3.5 because I feel like they're the best team in the NFL.
It's time for It's time for the best part of the show, the locks of the week. And we're going to go ahead and give it to Cam Williams.
Lock of the week. Fuck you, Coby. Your organization, just like Tommy's dumpster fire. I'm sick of the Steelers.
This karma's going to come back to bite you, Cam. I just want you to know.
I don't want to hear this, Tommy. I've taken the Steelers the last 3 weeks.
Nobody told you to do that. You said you looked at the slate. You said,
you're my best friend. As a friend, I did out of love for you. I was like, you know what? This is the week. They disappointed me last week. The second week, I was like, I could let them give it a go. They're warming up. I go, okay, third time. This third time's a charm. It's a good saying. It wasn't. You guys
I was riding alongside you. I put my credibility and everything on the line, and we got beat by fucking 30. So I'm never taking the Steelers again, people. I'm never taking the Steelers. So
you don't believe me when I say this, Thomas, but I'm just as invested in this fucking team as you are. I have.
I mean, the other thing is that we have gotten on prime time 3 out of 4 weeks. The first week we were prime time at 1 o'clock. We were the 1 o'clock national TV game. And then we've been on 8 o'clock twice, and we suck. Like, you know, I hope we don't suck, but as of right now, we suck. So it's questionable. The strong suit was the defense, and it's not anymore. It looks like. But with that being said, I really wanted to take the Ravens minus 3.5, considering the Browns and the Steelers are basically damn near the same team. But I saw the New Orleans Saints playing the Patriots, and the spread is plus 1.5, and I couldn't resist. So that's my lock of the week. The Patriots are on fire right now. Mac Jones is terrible. Christian Gonzalez was probably their best corner as a rookie, and he's out of there. So J.C. Jackson isn't going to help him either. I love J.C. Jackson when I see him on the receiver. It's fun. It's funny to watch. So Patriots or New Orleans Saints plus 1.5 lock of the week. I'm going to jump in next because I'm taking the same game. I'm touching the total here. I'm taking the under. So the under is 45.5, which is not a lot of points. But the Saints have gone under in 13 of their last 14 games. And the Saints have stayed under in all 4 of their games this year with an average score combined of 34.5. So that's, you know, well under 45.5. The Patriots came off of game scoring 3 points. So they're probably looking to have a big offensive game this week. But I don't know if they have the horses. So I'm going to take the under in this game, 45.5. It's, you know, kind of in the middle of like a iffy total. And I just like the fact that the Saints have gone under in 13 of the last 14 games here, and the Patriots put up 3 points last week. So I'm going to take the under 45.5 in the Saints-Patriots game.
I'm 1-3 on my locks this year. It's fucking bad. And the one lock I have hit this year was on this computer in my bedroom at home, which for some reason has my brother's name on the Zoom account. And the day I gave that lock, I walk into my house and my brother looks at me and says, "This is your lock right here for the week. Do it on the show." And that lock, it was an over, and it hit in like halfway through the third quarter. So I came home again today and he tells me, "You know what, Sam, your lock for the week is Eagles Rams over 50.5. I didn't look at that game that much. I didn't think that much about it. I don't know what to think about it, but I haven't hit a lock other than when he told me to when I was on this computer. So we're going back to him. Shout out Matthew.
Let's be real. The Bengals have not been good. And as much as everyone wants to see the Bengals hop back on, be the team that they were, beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, some teams just don't put together some seasons. Sometimes there's something wrong. Sometimes Joe Burrow tears his calf or hurts his calf and he's not the same. And they pay him a bunch of money, so he has to play regardless on if he's actually ready to play. The Bengals are not good. I believe they average 18, maybe it was 19, but I'm pretty sure I saw it was 18 points a game through 4 weeks. That's terrible. That's like Jets level low offense right there. And I think it continues. I think sometimes you you have a bad season or things just aren't the same. And I think that just happens to be this year for them. The Cardinals obviously haven't been bad, but I don't think they put up enough points with the Bengals to hit the over. The Bengals front seven is still pretty good. Their secondary is terrible, but they should be able to shut down the run game and leave it up to Josh Dobbs. And although so far that has worked, it doesn't look like that's the recipe for a 50-point game. So I'm going to take the under. I think both teams are lackluster offenses. And although the Cardinals are exceeding expectations, they had low expectations set for them. So I don't think that means they're an over type of team. So I'm taking the under of this game, regardless of if the Bengals win or the Cardinals win. I don't see many points being scored after seeing these offenses for 4 weeks. So Bengals, Cardinals, under.
I like that pick, Coby.
People love to prey on the downfall of Joe Burrow. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. He's a little corny, but he's also just so cool, and people don't like it that he's cool and good. People need to remember that this guy missed all of training camp. And he's still coming off a very serious calf injury that is like the same injury that KD had, or a similar injury that KD had. So he's probably playing a little gingerly. There are rumors that the Bengals are going to shut down the season if they lose this game. Joe Burrow is a winner. If there's any truth to that statement, he is not going to let that happen. They are playing a bad team. It is Bengals -3. Lock it in. By the way, I'm 3-1 on locks. It's going to be 4-1.
Yeah.
Josh Dobbs
Bengals playing the Cardinals. Bengals -3. Lock it in.
They lost 27-3 to the Titans last week.
It's so bad.
Dude,
I just believe in Joe Burrow. If pushed against the wall, and if it's true that they're saying like we're gonna shut you down and tank for Marvin Harrison Jr., he's not gonna let that happen.
Patriots, they're 1-3. They lost to the Eagles, very good team. Dolphins, very good team. Cowboys, very good team. Who did they beat? The Jets. This week, who do they play? Saints. Then the Raiders. They're going to be 3-3 by week 6. Then they play a couple good teams. They play the Bills again. They're going to lose. It's just going to be back and forth when they have a coaching and a defensive scheme just advantage. They're going to end up 8-9, 9-8 like they did last year. And the Saints, listen, love Derek Carr as a human. He put up with a lot of stuff in Vegas because that franchise, that ownership, I don't really trust him. But 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, got outplayed by Jordan Love, and last week by Baker Mayfield. It's like, come on, man. I think that with Dennis Allen as their coach, it's such a sizable gap in the coaching advantage between the Bill Belichick and the Patriots and the Saints. I think the Patriots are going to win outright. They're at home. They're going to win comfortably. I really believe that. And they're going to win the following week against Vegas. We just saw Tomlin play Josh McDaniels. We saw what happened at the end of that game. So ththese teams are just going to end up 8-9, 9-8. It's just what's going to happen, even though their offenses aren't that talented. So, yeah, give me the Patriots +1.
Texans +2. They're playing Atlanta. I know it's on the road. Atlanta hasn't looked good. Ritter looked horrible in London last week. He can't look off safeties. I don't know what's going on in Atlanta with their offense. They got guys on the outside.
Desmond Ritter sucks.
Yeah, the quarterback just sucks.
Get Cordero Patterson to Pittsburgh, Tone, please.
Yeah. So and CJ Stroud, man, he just hit the ground running. He looks good. He looks really, really good. I like what I'm seeing out the Texans. I like the energy they got going on over there. Everything looks real positive and upbeat. I'm going to take the Texans +2 as my lock of the week.